Mr. Niraj Sarwat, Vice President, India Bulls Ventures Ltd. Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Initially I was worried, but after 2 days I realized there is no way out if I panic, and got myself motivated to heal. I focused on drinking lot of water and good diet. Medicines apart, natural healing process make me up and running within 10 days. As we know that during this lockdown many businesses suffered. Please share your thought on behalf of Get In platform again. Digital mode is the new normal of doing business. However, overall businesses will also back on track soon, as we need to pull up our socks to revive the economy. Vasudev Purtni, CEO Kispis Food Industries Ahmedabad. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? The pandemic era has no doubt been a rough time for everyone except the pharma industries. Even though the FMCGs were never shut, but major elements like labor, supply chain, wholesale store were not functional. As we know that during this lockdown many business suffered. Please share your thought on behalf of Get In platform again. It's a competitive world, and us as entrepreneurs need to adapt to new things, new ways of working, switching to online sales, and learning from our experiences and be prepared for what comes next. To conclude with, I'd like to share a very famous quote: when times are bad is when the real entrepreneurs emerge. Mr. Saurabh, Proprietor, Sagar Industrial Machine CO. Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Whatever I am going to convey is my experience in this COVID era from last 1 year 15 months. March 19th, 2021 I've got it COVID positive. Fever and loss of taste and smell are common, but after COVID breathlessness are more common and still suffering. As COVID era, my 6 family members including me all world COVID positive, and mum and dad were hospitalized because of precaution. As I was recovering, we got to know my mother is facing sleeplessness nights in hospital because of medicines and treatment given to her, so my sister and myself planned to stay with her, but as per norms only one can stay in COVID but when she was COVID negative, I also stayed with my mother as attendant because my mother was disturbed of fear and insomnia. My father got discharged pretty soon, but mother to 14 days, and lately all offers 6 members including my young son were fine. 2020 lockdown was more enjoyable and long holiday. We were taking power summer breaks, which generally we don't get for so long, preparing food, exercising, watching Netflix, work day to day, still enjoying activities, but 2021 lockdown is not at all same. This time we have lost some near ones and faced COVID, which was hell scarier. This time we are not doing exercise all, neither preparing to many food items as before. This lockdown is more like a house arrest, which is comfortable but not tall, enjoyable and irritating, as can't go out for a vacation, it's stressful. Scared to save a family life. This time to Koshal we are taking is more than last year, as wearing double mask, more focus on social distancing. Checking blood pressure, oxygen are common now. We hope this should get finished soon, but which is difficult and can't see its end, as every sometime new wave is coming and is more destructive. After watching news, apart from the death count which is increasing every day, it feels like our government is not eligible, as they have no planning but proving they have worked a lot. In this time we have seen people helping others to the availability. So did we try to do as arranging oxygen, plasma, medicine to others, and others family members also helped us, which is strength for patients, as this virus don't let the person make stand and be eligible for himself. Now it was a hard struggle, as all of us racing fever and other problems, but we did not lose hope and continue to take medicines. Another precaution need to be taken, and we're positive that our complete family will be out of this phase of life. We were disturbed as why we got this disease, but after some time we were praying to God, thank you, as all work fine and are out of it, because after April May things were out of control and nobody I was getting treatment, and so many problem were faced by families of oxygen and medicines. Earlier we thought this is scary, what after some time it's most scary and scariest. Now we pray from God we don't want to see more than this, as it is too much. Many young people have lost their lives, many families were destroyed, many kids lost their Parents, what to do next is take care. Vaccination is necessary, and kids who lost their parents must be taken care by the relatives, for people should adopt them for better life for them.
Mr. Abhishek S. Chowan, Managing Director, Kraft Lux International, P. Limited, YKS Infratech, P. Limited, Technico Consultancy Services, P. Limited, Noida. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? I believe lockdown is the only way we can stop the spread of this deadly virus. Though I equally understand the need of keeping the economy alive so that livelihood of those who are directly or indirectly connected to industries and other sectors can keep their daily needs running. Government can plan for the intermittent type of policy for lockdown, which means lockdown for 9-14 days, in which 50% of industries shall be allowed to run, and then again unlock for 9-14 days, in which other 50% of enterprises can operate, and this shall vice versa keep going. This will help in stopping the spread of the virus. Export of vaccine was a humanitarian effort, and government did that to grab lobbying against China. India as a country tried its level best to grab businesses from the kitty of China. Vaccines export was part of that plan. If the vaccination process was speeded up to around early this year, then I believe the situation could have been a bit better. All the efforts and volunteerism did by the students and individual or some NGO deserves a round of applause. Without their efforts, things could have been even worse. They did patch up the holes left by ignored government officials. Mrs. Lena, State Head, Future Led, Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? It's been a long time struggle, and nowadays too much pressure in our work. Everyone is in hope to get well soon. When some companies and college students as volunteers did their job when oxygen shortage in Delhi NCR, you like to share for them too. Words on that? This is an appreciation to Mr. Sam Cruz, Royal Events and Planning, and your team for helping needy and helpless people at the time of pandemic, where there were huge requirements of oxygen cylinders, the drug remdesivir, hospital beds, concentrators, plasma donors were there. You and your team were there day and night to the nation. Thanks to the tireless efforts of volunteers, because of your efforts, several patients have been able to get the required help within hours. Several lives were saved because of your efforts. We appreciate you achieving so many milestones. We know you have worked very hard, and we truly admire your dedication. But I want nothing more than for you to take care of yourself, your friends and your family. Mr. Rohit Nagpal, Director, Occident Financial and Consultancy Services, P. Limited, Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Everyone tried their level best from their end to helping each other. As per business, many companies, like our company, gives every employee to work from home. We are trying our best for safety to all of us. Everyone giving their efforts for earning and to share with their family, as well as doing their job as a patriot as well. What you think about financial structure? Everything is up and down. How can we maintain that ASAP? As per present days, there is nothing like that. Everyone is earning. Some peoples are doing Jan Seva. There is only 0.001% persons are doing black in these days. This is wrong because every human is needy. Every person make a sense of humanity. They have to. Think about it, everyone is in trouble nowadays. Either someday they will also being in trouble, so they have to think about that, then do their work and giving genuine rates to the consumer. Income didn't increase. Even it is decreased, can't able to do work from home. But still try to do everybody work from home or digitally, because there is no mean to make your near ones in danger, including yourselves. We are also doing our work digitally. What you think about government policies? They are running like non-stop lockdowns and export of injection before inject to the citizens and all. They are doing right or wrong? Government doesn't have everything in their hands. When last time lockdown open, people didn't follow the COVID-19 guidelines. So government can't able to do anything. Rather than lockdown again. There is no mean on earnings or work important than their life. If a person alive, they can settle down again their business in a month. As you said, government distributed vaccination abroad before. It's all their decision, and not any shortage of any vaccination in India. According to the capacity India has been developing they have to give every country. For example, they vaccinated 70% nationalist, so it may be possibility that if someone comes from abroad and will spread disease in 30%, so that's why it's all globalization. Before totally end of COVID in worldwide, anyone country can't able to say that is safe. That's why every country should be in touch with each other. It is not only India did help any other countries, many countries help India too by supplying oxygen and other medicines, so it's all about give and take. But still government make sure about that Indian citizen couldn't be trouble. Mr. Anil Bedi, Managing Director, Bedico Automotives, Punjab. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? This is very unique, tough time which comes once in a century and is of course historic one in many ways. This is going to be remembered for a long time, just like our freedom struggle and world wars in previous century. This has taught us a lot of lessons which need to be learned and improve ourselves. Nevertheless, we will be foolish if we can't learn from this. Few important things this pandemic has taught us are we have limited resources and abundance of population which immediately needs to be controlled. Human resource urgently need to be upgraded. Beggars have no choice and we need to be stand on our legs. Savings, reserves and surpluses have to be maintained at each level, starting from family up to state and central governments. Life is too short and we have to be prepared for leaving this world anytime. Nature and ecology have to be preserved, as water, air and environment are too precious. Virtual world is fake. Only real friends and family stand with you in the hour of need. This is the era when even parents are not privileged to let their pair live by their children. This has taught us a lot, but still we need to understand and act upon that. Mr. Mohammed Faisal Aftab, Managing Director, Sabrina Exports, Uttar Pradesh. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? As this is a really tough time for all Indians. And circumstances are depressive, but we should be positive on every aspect of life, and we should try to convert all negative things to be positive. So many people lost their loved ones. And this time, safety, our family, our staff, should be our priority, and we are very sure we will come out with this situation with more energy and more strength, as we Indians are. This is in our blood, never give up. And our country will grow with our collective efforts. what you think about government policies. They are just doing continuously lockdown and, according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinate to the citizen. They are doing right or wrong? As this is tough time for the fashion garments exports because of travel restrictions. We are not able to get new orders and customers are. Government should announce some lucrative schemes for export. Miss Ravina CEO Shardul Amar and Mangal does lawyer Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience and thought you got in this pandemic era? It's been a very tough time with frontline workers putting in their best foot forward 24/7 and trying to save as many lives as possible. Mr. Deepak, proprietor Printing Machine Solutions Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Working from home is still on, although with lots of restrictions. What you think about government policies. They are just doing continuously lockdown and according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinate to the citizen. The government is doing efforts from their sides, but the COVID waves are something which is not in anyone's hands. As we know that during this lockdown many businesses suffered. What you think how to get in platform again? God knows dear, this COVID waves is something not in our hands. Who know there would be second wave coming so strongly? Otherwise, the market was coming back to track. Let's see survival of the fittest in tougher times is the Mr. S. Srinath, the Vice President Easy Open Ends India PVT Limited. Noida. 1. How did we feel the lockdown? The disease was not known to us. Its seriousness, we heard it was in China, never thought it will come to India and affect this badly. We never had any preparations, and it came as a big surprise. 2. How did we analyze as the next action point? It took some time for us to understand that this corona will not go anywhere, rather we have to live with this situation for a long time. So we started pushing this concept with all our team, at all levels, and asked suggestions for each one of them to adopt here. 3. How did we plan to keep the workforce with us? We started discussing in phones with our teams and spread messages that we will get special permission to run the industry under COVID norms, ask them wait at their homes, wherever they are. This confidence made them to wait and they kept calling back to check status. 4. What was our theme to our investors, workforce, markets, etc.? Sign our products were related to food packaging, and our product comes under essential products. We built confidence in all our associates that we will come back to production and be in business. Sure, it did happen as we went to all levels to get working permission. We were back in work on 45th day of first lockdown declared. 5. Long-term game plans? We understood that this pandemic will come in waves, not going to go away permanently, but will keep coming. Hence we always followed COVID norms since the work started, never let things taken for granted, social distancing, masking, sanitizer. Made 3 batches of lunch breaks, keeping only 2 people at 4-seated table. We were checking temperature every 2 hours, then and now. Once in a week talk to people by stopping productions, listen to them, build courage, made revolving team leaders on weekly basis, so everyone get a chance to show his leadership qualities. These things made most of workforce to get out from depression, and we always use the word, fighting a war, and are prepared for fighting a war, but no one is allowed to lose the war. These were motivational words helped us continue to face these challenges. 6. Survival plans? Being extra alert, anticipate the worst, how to manage if it affects, a type of training being done often. Very important is not to be overconfident. It is like sleeping with an enemy. 7. Future plans and acceptance? Yes, the government has done its best under the circumstance. Please understand no one has the expertise in this pandemic. We all are doing our best. Sometime it has become a habit in India to politicize the matter, to blame the administration in public media, free media like Facebook etc., misleading the masses. The missing point is attention to detail is skipped under overconfidence. The best message we do is if someone is sick, let him stay at home and no deduction in salary. This message has made more honesty and potential sick persons stay at home and call us to tell that he is sick, hence no spreading. Government, authorities, are doing their best. We too should join their hands in doing our best in our designated roles, and we also should stop spreading rumors, false messages, and keep our thoughts positively. Yes, we can win this war, provided all of us work together, be strong in our thoughts. Right now, India has one of the worst public policy, deliberate and confusing, misleading, certain section of society. Blamed vaccines and induced fear in people. When Corona started last year, people were eager to get vaccines, but these misleading messages, people did not take the vaccines. They forgot that we were in devil and deep sea situation. Remember, we have an elected government and not selected. They are doing their best to manage the situation. We all need to be constructive rather than destructive in our thoughts and dealings. Sometimes I think that, is this democracy is suitable to India-like country? Can any Chinese make comment on China government? Hence China has discipline, we don't. Finally, let's all join together and fight this pandemic. Mr. Tarun Gold, Director, Sanarish Textiles, Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Live a healthy lifestyle is must for future life. What you think about government policies? They are just doing continuously lockdown, and according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinate to the citizen. Give everyone hope. Government did very well job according to the situation. Mr. Amar Kumarya, President Arwa, Noida. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? First of all, we have to understand this is not a pandemic, but this is a biological war against us, pharma mafia. Some Democrats of US lead by China is the party to it. It will be over by May 2022 for some times, but it may continue after certain gaps. What we needed to do in the long run, -1. Vaccination is the key to develop herd immunity as a first step, and it has to be done very tactfully and within a very short time frame. 2. A mass awareness of good lifestyle to be created. Yoga, Ayurveda, naturopathy and meditation is the way forward for India to overhaul the entire fitness regime of this country. Meditation helps a lot in keeping people mentally and emotionally fit. While yoga and naturopathy will take care of physical fitness, and let's promote Ayurveda to treat people if any problem takes place on that front. 3. Government and World Bank needs to support poor and lower middle class people financially so that the masses does not crumble on economic front. 4. Strict adherence of COVID SOP-S while we start working again in June first week onwards. 5. Focus on better medical infrastructure and COVID home care assistance and awareness. 6. Strong belief and resilience from all fronts. Mr. Pradeep Jain, Sales Director, Travel Machine, Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? My name is Pradeep Jain. I am work with a travel organization for last 10 years. As you all know, due to this pandemic, travel industry hit very badly, and everyone is running out of money, job, even from freelancing business too. Same will happen with me, but I never lose hope. I have tried more and more into another online businesses to analyses which one is best to help me out in this pandemic situation. As we know that during this lockdown many business suffered. Please share your thought on behalf of Get In platform again. I realized that in graduation era I used to earn money through stock market for my pocket money, and to run my business I have started with website hosting business in my initial days. So after long research and analysis I have started the both again for the same reason. After some time I realized both are working very good. I have started the both business with very little investment. Now I become a franchise of very renowned financial firm, and for my website hosting work I have started with my own servers to host website builder, social media marketing, etc. Currently I am working with my another partner. They are very much expensive in all both the fields. Now we have started our online courses for online investing, website hosting, marketing and website building. Mr. Mahadevan Panikkar, professional artist. We all birth and live in the earth by nature, only that we forget, so the main problems create in our life. Because our duty is to protect our nature ourself from where we birth and living happily the earth give all things which we need to live in the nature example air water sunlight and food other materials from plant and trees. Now if we want the progress structure in the earth, we all have to understand above our main duties. Grow more trees every place and the earth cleans our surroundings daily. Agriculture in fields should be serving organic food to plants, so that human being can have nutritious food in daily life. If we get good health by taking organic food, then only human beings' brain can work properly and they couldn't do any cruel activities. Then there were no chronic diseases catch in human body. Note, government should control the tobacco sales and unwanted products utilization. DCP Pratik Singh, Deputy Commissioner of Police. We are here for public security. We have so much pressure during these days. So, we are requesting to the peoples to support us by follow the COVID-19 guidelines. I direct all police stations to ensure strict implementation of COVID-19 guidelines. We also human beings and have feelings to not to be so strictly behave to anyone but still we are doing our duty. Mr. Sudhanshu, Sales Manager Wimco Limited, Mumbai. My observation and learnings. 1. Personal time and professional time is boundless now. 2. So much of time on hand, difficult to plan. Otherwise, we always feel lack of time. 3. To survive we need not go out of home. 4. To live on earth basic requirements are less expensive, lifestyle is expensive. 5. Roles are getting redefined at home. Who will so what? 6. Traveling is not necessary for many things including work. 7. Globalization is heading for difficult time ahead. 8. What we call home is now called as jail. 9. Dichotomy called social distancing. 10. No crimes, zero pollution, no road accident, huge fuel saving and power saving is good for nature, but bad for economy. 11. Redefine what growth for organization and country is. 12. Smash on Vairagya concept prevails. Humanity forgets fast. 13. Fear is powerful. 14. Small invisible virus can stop entire world. Sodu is most powerful in world. 15. Cleaning and clearing old papers and cupboards, reading books, calling all old friends and relatives cannot be done beyond a point. There is a limit to it. 16. Learn 3 words. Life teaches more than dictionary. Dependent, independent and interdependent. 17. Fight between law of nature versus law of economics and the winner is Mother Nature. 18. Max utilization of men resources. ADV. Malik International Dispute Resolution Lawyer, Germany. 1. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? My experience during the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic has been one of gratefulness, gratitude and hope despite the negativity and grim situation all around. Gratefulness for being safe and healthy, and gratitude for helping out innumerable unknown people in dire need find hospital beds, oxygen and medicines while working remotely from Germany. It all started with helping a few close friends and family members find resources, and it ended up with being involved deeply with helping everyone. But there's also a feeling of despair and helplessness when a few of the patients could not make through, despite our help. We can only try our best and hope for the rest. While we can blame the authorities for the inadequate resources, I can only empathize with the authorities in charge, particularly the hospitals. My first-hand experience with this was when another fellow volunteer inadvertently tweeted my phone number as the emergency number of a hospital in Patna. And before any of us could realize it, the tweet was viral and I was flooded with hundreds of calls all hoping for availability of a hospital bed. The dystopia was evident and I realized the situation of hospitals and beds. Availability. 2. What will be your next step after this pandemic era? My next step after this pandemic era is to still be involved with volunteering and helping people out. The database of resources that has been built up is very useful and the gains made cannot be put away. It is still early to predict about the pandemic with the third wave almost inevitable, wherein these resources will now be quite useful. Further, other resources such as blood and platelets donors will always be helpful forever to face other situational urgencies. 3. What you prefer during this COVID time in medical treatment: allopathic, Ayurvedic, homeopathic or naturopathic? The medical treatment prescribed by the ICMR for COVID-19 treatment must be followed by one and all, which primarily addresses allopathy. However, this is not to say that Ayurvedic treatment or naturopathy is not useful. While these can be utilized to build up immunity and a healthy lifestyle, it cannot be used to treat COVID-19 cases, and must be only used after medical consultation. Social media-based medical advice from an unverified source must never be taken without consulting one's doctors and medical experts. 4. What you think about government policies? They are just doing continuously lockdown, and according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinated to the citizen. They are doing right or wrong? Government policy such as lockdown was very much and urgently required to curb the spread of COVID-19 infections and reduce the positivity rate of the cases below 5%. I wholeheartedly support the lockdown measures to do so, and strongly believe that saving lives is more paramount than restrictions on personal liberty of the public. It would be grossly incorrect to say that export of vaccines from India happened at the cost of people of India. The pandemic is not limited by geography or political boundaries, and no one is safe till everyone is safe. The decision to export vaccines to other countries facing acute crisis took place when the number of daily cases recorded in India were among the world's lowest, so the government extended support wherever possible during this period, as India is the world's largest producer of vaccines. Also, being one of the most populous countries in the world, the vaccination drive could not be completed in 2 or 3 months in India. Further, India being part of the WHO Global Alliance had international commitments to export vaccines to other countries in more need. Currently, the export of vaccines from India has been rightfully stopped, and the highest priority has been given to vaccination of our own citizens. Mesmerizers Adon CSR Teleperformance Philippines. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Pandemic times made changes in everyone's life. Personally, there's a positive and negative impact in our lives. Family stays at home. Children and grandparents. As for me, I make my kids safe. I used to go out buy our foods and other necessities. When going out, we have to follow the health protocols, use face mask, face shield and alcohol. Every minute needs to spray alcohol in my hands. In that way I keep away from the enemy that we don't see, which the virus is. And now I've started working from my home. Mr. Sachin Chaudhary, HR Professional, Delhi. As we know that during this lockdown many business suffered. Please share your thought on behalf of Get In Platform again. This pandemic has revealed various hidden facts unseen by our generation, or even imagined by any of us. Every sector of society is striving to gain a foothold again. To keep the employees healthy, safe, motivated and engaged, every organization is putting in the best efforts. The workforce in turn is facing multiple challenges. Personal and professional, both the fronts are at stake. A fear of losing job at any time, and also feeling responsible to bring back the business on track for mutual survival travel parallel. The best part is that not only employers, but also employees are joining hands to overcome the situation. Though this new normal, where we have been sipping virtual tea with colleagues since last year, have to implement more methods and techniques to provide agile work environment resulting in increased productivity. Employers also need to look for alternative ways to keep the workforce sufficiently compensated at the same time. Mr. Arvind Kumar Sharma, Fr. Agnil School Transport Manager, Noida. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Myself, Arvind Kumar Sharma, and we all are witness at how this pandemic COVID badly affected or disturbed our life. Started since March 2020, every day was very tough, but still we all survived with the hope that one day all will be fine. In the year of 2020 many peoples lost their jobs and business, but still we had a hope and believe on the God. Yes, Of course, during this 2020 pandemic we all struggled a lot, but one good thing also was there that peoples and our society came out to help to each other and hold each other hands to give support. During this pandemic, one thing was very important, that is mental health, and mentally we have to strong. It is possible when we give support each other. What you think about government policies? They are just doing continuously lockdown, and according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinated to the citizen. They are doing right or wrong? For everything we cannot blame to government, because government also have limited resources. Our society must come forward to help people, and as a citizen of this country we also have some responsibility towards our nation. If I talk to about financially prospect, actually, in our country not exist. Some peoples have many cars, houses and money more than their requirement. If these peoples have to think about this like our ex-Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri. Love your neighbors as yourself. Yes, it is true that our government helps some country with vaccine, but it is not easy when you need same thing and you are giving to someone else. And if all the country will think about himself only, then we can imagine world become such a... When some companies and college students as volunteers did their job when oxygen shortage in Delhi NCR, you like to share for them 2 words on that. About the college students, companies and small big groups those worked as volunteers to help the peoples during this pandemic, and still they are helping. Their work really appreciates. They really set an example for others and give courage to others also to come out from their rest zone and help others. Every coin has 2 face, head and tail, and same in our society country having 2 kind of peoples, one those always ready to help peoples without any hesitation, and other always try find their profit or loss, and it is true because of these good peoples only our society country always win and standing in every tough time. Mr. Kayadar Majiret, Gazetted Officer Sub-Registrar Office Haribad, Alapatha. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? We never thought of in the COVID period we will suffer from natural disaster like flood. Many people lost their loved ones and their valuable things and time. This is the absolute worst year for all. It is better to stay safe at home during this epidemic. We wish everything is good soon and people can do their work and live happily again. What you think about financial structure? Everything is up and down. How can we maintain that ASAP? Everybody knows financial structure after this pandemic era will take a long time to get in track again. Schedule a time and day each week to compare your actual spending against your budget, to avoid overspending and realize opportunities to save any extra incoming deposits. LuxuryStays.in Mr. Akash, CEO, Kandalam, Goa. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? Stay home and stay safe. Good times are ahead. Just hold on right now and let's join the fight against COVID together and say we are all in this together. MS Kamakshi Waste, the analyst, KPMG Gurugram. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? During this pandemic, it was all a mess. We could see people struggling for basic healthcare facilities like medicines, plasma, oxygen, hospital beds, ambulance, etc. We could see entire health structure literally collapsing. People did not even get to say a last goodbye to their loved ones. It is all dark and gloomy and entire nation is suffering. But one thing which gives me immense hope and positivity is the attitude of all Indians during this pandemic. Everyone literally came out to help one another with whatever ways they could. Be it food, health resources, anything and everything in one's capacity. All the limitations, boundaries got blur. No division by caste, creed, race, religion could cause any difference between us. This level of solidarity and cooperation amongst fellow Indians is unmatchable. I just wish and hope that things get better pretty soon and all of us come out of it. I know many of us have lost their loved ones, and none of the words could mitigate their pain, but there is always a bright shiny morning after a dark gloomy night. This night is slightly longer, but this will pass as well. MS Monad Halsey as our professional Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? This pandemic was a really tough time for all of us. This time we not only knew the names of the people leaving, but knew many in our families. We all were either losing our loved ones or the loved ones of our loved ones. But there was another side to it as well. We had people who were no close to us, but were close enough to help us around. Every time there was a need of any medicine, oxygen cylinders, concentrators, there were organization and people like you who were just a text away. There were people calling their blood relatives, and there was a chain of relatives calling for the medical requirements of each other relatives. A hard time, still going, but was a little easier with people like you helping people in distress. Thank you. Red. Asi Mahendra Kumar, Delhi Police Parliament House, Sensei Marg, Janpath, Connaught Place. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? During these days we had too much pressure. Mostly double shift as well to maintain the COVID-19 guidelines and crowd management. We are also humans and have kindness, but in front of our work duty we are helpless to relief. Sometimes we can't able to go and take our food from any circumstances. I will never forget my last days of duty has that much trouble. Whenever I reached my home, I just took off everything outside of my house and lawn area. Be safe, keep everyone healthy. Drive Jorgen Jensen, Scientist in Car Research Aviation Facility, Australia. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? We got a surprise attack on this pandemic era. We didn't thought our research on aerosol cloud interaction we will do for preventing of COVID attack. After so many studies and research we have built an instrument giant nuclear device. COVID virus is a mixture of various protein and dilute salt solution inside RNA, which is surrounded by the protein capsid coat. We want to have the viruses been deactivated as much as possible. We should keep our humor and expired drops moist and not let them get into the dry face, not let them go past their fluorescence. The viability of virus particles in airborne drops depends on a number of physical properties, for example, air temperature, exposure to ultraviolet light, and relative humidity of air. Human exhaled drops are thought to be a main way to transport SARS-CoV-2 virus particles from COVID-19 infected persons to other persons. Under high salinity, the virus particles are breaking down and becoming less capable of causing infection. Mr. Saurabh, Senior Hardware Engineer, Qualcomm India PVT Limited, Bangalore. Hello everyone, we all have been struck with a devastating time in our lives where we might have lost someone near or dear to the COVID pandemic. While the ones departed have left a big void in all of our lives which can never be filled, we can just fold our hands in prayer and thank them for their contributions by their acts and just for being there for us. It is also said that every challenge brings with itself an opportunity, and this one did too. Many civil society organizations, religious trusts and noble-hearted souls came together to help the needy in whatever way possible and spread a ray of hope in the gloomy times. Just that someone is there along with you in hard times may not reduce the severity, but it does give you some strength to fight the enemy. I too, with the same hope of being of a little help to someone and foster the community feeling, decided to volunteer through various groups, including the one by Sam Royal Events. As the second COVID wave is on way, we must realize why we landed in such a bad situation. We should realize the fact that it was a collective failure of government, administration as well as the society, where we declared ourselves victorious over COVID-19 way too early, and the virus came back and punched us hard. Well, better late than never, and it's time for all of us as responsible human beings to mask up, sanitize and maintain social distancing while the government rectifies its own mistake. In the longer run, we should also realize that it's our senseless exploitation of Mother Nature that has landed us in such a situation, and hence going forward we should also consume responsibly while making every effort to save Mother Nature by following practices such as each one plant one. Because if we are in this together, we will not just make sure that there will be no third wave, but that there will be no pandemic in future. Take care and all the best. Mr. Shirish Bhatt, CEO LVS Earth Movers PVT Limited, Bangalore. Hundreds of thousands of small and medium medium businesses shut down across the country last year due to the impact of the once-in-a-century pandemic. Millions of jobs and livelihoods were lost as a result. Startup funding was down, and credit offtake dried up in the wake of sustained lockdowns and demand slowdown. Surely, the entrepreneurial spirit was dented big time during the early months of a black swan event in COVID-19. This leads to digital transformation. The biggest gift from COVID-19 to the people around the world. And this is the future, which we were missing. Mr. Sam Cruz, Country Head Royal Events and Planning, Delhi. Can you please share with us about your experience you got in this pandemic era? One of the worst time we've seen. There is no humanity left in this world. I am very upset by seeing this around. I heard and saw worse things during this period. Without any gathering, and according to the market ratio, we can't able to do our work properly. Government is trying to sort out the issues, but their work for it is not satisfactory. Many other bad situations everywhere. I just got only one word in my mind, that it's starting time for end of Kali Yuga. After starting of this pandemic era, many natural disasters were in front of us, like earthquake, flood, locust attack, oxygen shortage. Now human disasters started, political rivals in Kolkata. We didn't think that without any experience we will be in social work in the time of this bad situation of oxygen shortage and COVID-related issues. We are grateful to get a chance to give our service to patients to save their life. We also served 2 IAS officer, 2 state SDM officers, YATRA and many other professionals during this period. We got messages from dealers for purchasing a large number of medical equipment, but we refused that because at that time we were not there for business, we were in social work. I got some threat calls from somebody to stop our social service during the difficult situation, so they can sell their equipment as per their charges, but that time I just took few times to think over my decision that we were doing right or wrong and make sure about it. We were not taking anyone's bread. After that we resumed our service. We were not doing anything wrong, we were just trying to save many other lives and clean the black marketing. I got a bad news from somebody about 2 little girls lost their parents during this oxygen shortage time, and their relatives refused to adopt them because they are also in trouble. Their relatives came for agree to donate children to someone. I tried to adopt both baby girls, but it's my bad luck someone adopted them before I reached to them. What you think about financial structure? Everything is up and down. How can we maintain that ASAP? Financial structure we can maintain soon by economic raise and less expenses on unwanted items. As we know, the COVID-19 recession has seen the fastest, steepest downgrades in consensus growth projections among all global recessions since 1990. What you think about government policies? They are just doing continuously lockdown, and according to the news, Indian government did export of COVID relief injection before vaccinated to the citizen. They are doing right or wrong? Government policies is one of the worst ideas. Non-stop lockdowns they are doing is not way to get rid out of from COVID-19. Lockdown is mandatory only in that case when they want to do their work to handle the crowd in marketplaces. We request to the government, please do lockdown only in emergency case. Non-stop lockdown affects economy very badly. Government behaving like a parent and treat us like their children. When children are not listening to parents, they just lock their children in a room or bathroom. But we are not children, so they have to think about it. There are many policies which is same like just only a scrap. Like firstly they opened wine shops, which place is high crowd place for making revenue. If they really need revenue that much, so they can plan for home delivery service of alcohol. Benefits -1, which makes their revenue. 2. Who are needy or jobless person, they can get the job as a delivery boy. 3. Maintain social distance as well, but government didn't plan it. They could manage political event too with an innovative plan, but they didn't. I don't know what their next plan, but I am requested to the government do something innovative which brings some action on the unwanted loss of the public. There are many reasons behind which makes our business and economy affected very badly. As per your question of injection distribution, that is just a way of trade. That's okay, it's give and take policy. But government should be maintain vaccination for citizens too. Government spoiled event industry totally. They can do work on that also, but they didn't. I don't know who are making this type of orthodox policies. They have a large number of employees like IASPCSN. Why they are not doing their work on total area venue? Their duty should be work on the space. How much space available for the gathering by taking social distance? How can you suggest every place is in same gathering area? Our leadership unfortunately has lost the moral ground to cage us in our house. They should come with some innovative policy so that the market continues and we are able to step out of the house and the economy runs so that we are able to earn bread and butter. Banks said 3 MI will be postponed, but after did that they give us 4 or 5 MI entries on us. We are in pressure of that. So that's why we are requesting to the government do something out of the box, which this type of situation didn't happen again. If government can't able to do that, then call us to step in. We will make sure how to do social distancing, and economy can also run. At least little better economy runs from totally nil. I salute this time volunteers and our co-workers. I am appreciate to salute them from deep of my heart, and I am very grateful for that.